I was introduced to Manitech by my mom, who's a naturopath, and so I've been involved in natural health pretty much since a teenager, and I'm well into my 50s now. I did have some challenges with my health. With a parent that's a naturopath, they take it on as a personal mission. I did everything and anything that my mom suggested I do, and I changed my diet pretty extremely, became a vegetarian when I was only 18 years old. So I did a lot of things to try to improve my health, and my lifestyle with stress really would exasperate some of the challenges I had. I had one of those situations where my body just was turning on itself. So when she was introduced to Manitech, she saw so many unbelievable changes in her own naturopathic practice that she said, you have to do this. And I got started on the Manitech products. Ambertose was brand new at the time, and these products absolutely changed my life. So I knew that I was going to continue on them. They made such an impact on my health. But I've always been very technical, and I've studied holistic health throughout the years. So I decided to become certified in nutritional microscopy because I'm very analytical, but I really want to see the evidence in order for me to share this with all the confidence that I had from what happened in my body, and I just really wanted to get my hands on something technical. I began studying live blood back in 2002, and when I do that, I'm actually doing a finger poke and looking at live activity of blood under a very high power microscope, and the amazing ability to actually see cellular communication happen under the microscope is very, very exciting. I wish I could show it to every person that uses Ambertose or is passionate about Manitech. Since then, I've actually have watched a shift. The things that I've seen, first of all, doing live blood, primarily when people are on Ambertose and on the OSP, there's certain shifts and changes that occur in both our red blood cells and our white blood cells. And I've been able to consistently see the immune system in action underneath the microscope. I could consistently see the shift and change in the activity of all the white blood cells, their ability to recognize what was around them, versus people that were not using the products or before they had gotten on the products. And the white blood cells actually move around the plasma. They don't look like what you think they're going to look like. They can look like blobs in the blood. But first of all, they're supposed to be moving, and granules are supposed to be streaming. There should be a lot of activity. In many cases, the blood cells are so inactive in some people that I would have to fast forward any of the filming of the blood just to see if they're moving at all. So when I'm sitting with people and consulting with them, I can show them what blood should look like and what it should be doing, and really analyze what is happening with their blood. And once people get going on Ambertose and those white blood cells start moving around the plasma, I will see them touching up against everything. There's bacterial forms in there, there's viral forms, and there's a lot of things floating around in the plasma of the blood. These white blood cells really should recognize what this is. And when they do recognize it and they touch all around it, they wrap themselves right around a bacterial form and ingest it, and it becomes part of the cell. And then the cell starts to move away, and you can see these bacterial forms inside the cell now under the microscope. And it's so exciting to show people after they've been on the product to watch the activity of what the blood cell is now capable of doing. But conversely, I will see situations in blood that are very unhealthy. And when the white blood cells are out there in high numbers because of the amount of bacteria, and they are touching all over different forms, very obviously unhealthy cells, and they touch, and just move away. It is very eye-opening. It opens the opportunity to start to explain to people just why these blood cells have absolutely no idea what they are supposed to do.
If an organism somehow sneaks past the skin barrier, your immune system then mobilizes a host of other defenses. Some cells surround the organism, while other cells, usually white blood cells called neutrophils, leave the blood vessel and enter the site of injury or infection. Now, other bacteria-eating cells called macrophages travel to the injured site. They extend tentacle-like arms that reach out and snare the invading organism. The macrophage then destroys the microbe with powerful chemicals or swallows it whole.
The other shifts that I have watched happen, especially over the last 10 years, there's a shift that takes place in our red blood cells. The membrane of the cell becomes very, very weak. It almost, instead of being round, it looks like a bottle cap, if you were to pop a cap off the top of a soda bottle. And because of the oxidative stress, the free radicals, the toxins in our environment, this amount of free radical activity really affects the membrane of the red blood cells. Once that membrane is compromised, it makes it very difficult for the red blood cell to transport oxygen around the body, to absorb nutrients. The job is for nutrition to be absorbed and transferred around the body as well as oxygen. As I see this shift over the last 10 years, I'm seeing more and more indications of oxidative stress and free radical in people than I had even when I started doing this work. But the other thing, I'm seeing a tremendous amount of endocrine system imbalance, much more than I did 10 to 12 years ago. So many things that are going on, not only in the environment, but how we absorb this EMF pollution through the pineal gland in the top of the head and how it affects the hormonal balance of the body. What we have available in the optimal health packs themselves is so important as we work synergistically and support the systems of the body, that in that optimal health packet, not only do we have the antioxidant product that really helps us fight the free radicals, but the plus that helps us support the hormonal balance, and then of course our vitamin and mineral. And a lot of times what people don't understand is that we need to have this synergy of support to the health of the body so that we can effectively absorb and use that vitamin mineral. So when I'm looking at blood, the shift and change that takes place not only in those red blood cells, but also the activity of the white blood cells and how active the immune system is to recognize what's going on, really can paint a picture for me of the health of the person that I'm looking at, and after they've been on good nutritional supplementation. And when I work with people, I also let them know this is about diet, lifestyle choices, and the right nutritional support. They are all a piece of the puzzle. And when we look at blood, I also encourage people that the body has the ability to shift and change at a cellular level. Regardless of what the blood looks like when we're sitting together, we have the opportunity to start to work with the body at a cellular level. So it's important when I do work with somebody and they're anxious to start making these type of changes, first of all, that they're going to commit to supporting their overall health, so that they don't look at it as a magic bullet. Well, I'm just going to take this, and then I can continue all these other unhealthy choices that I'm making regularly in my body. That will allow you to tread water. You will be able to keep your head above the water. But if you really want to move forward, we really need to incorporate good health, exercise, enough hydration in the body, the other things that are so important to keep the body healthy. But the other thing that's really important when I work with people is to remind them that when I'm looking at the blood, I'm looking at the blood cells. I'm not looking at tissue and organ cells right now. They're anxious to see results in the products. I let them know it's important to wait a minimum of 90 days before we look at the blood again, because the blood that I'm looking at has a 90 to 120-day cell turnover. Secondly, we're changing at a cellular level. But when people can see the activity of what's happening in the blood, it is very eye-opening, and we can start at a cellular level to make things better. But also, it's so exciting when I do sit down with somebody 90 days later. Sometimes it's 6 months later, and we start to see immediately the shift in the activity of the white blood cells. And people are excited. I record the blood, and I keep the old recordings. So as we sit with these follow-up visits, we have those reports right in our hands. And it's just the most heartwarming, exciting thing to say, wow, look at the difference in your blood. People are motivated, they're excited, and it keeps them motivated to do the right things, because they really can not only start to feel different, but they can see and understand at a cellular level how much difference is really taking place.